today's learning we are doing is, can I convert fractions to decimals? Not what we were doing yesterday. We're actually doing the opposite yesterday, which was converting decimals to fractions. It's not a magic trick to convert them. We just need to think carefully about the place value. So quickly, before we're moving on to convert fractions to decimals, let's just recap converting decimals to fractions. So pause this video, try and complete this by yourself, unpause when you're ready to hear the solutions. So 0.46, I've got 46 hundredths, 4 in my tenths column, 6 in my hundredths column. That's 46 out of 100. Now I can simplify that. Here I can see it's been divided by 2, because 100 divided by 2 is 50. It's an equivalent fraction, so what I do to the denominator, I also have to do to the numerator. So 46 divided by 2 is 23. Okay, 0.35 is 35 hundredths. 35 out of 100. So here it's been simplified again. How do I get from 100 to 20? I divide by 5. So I need to do the same to my numerator. How many 5s go into 35? So if I count in 5s, I can find the answer. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 7 5s. So 35 hundredths is equivalent to 7 20ths. 0.17 is the same as 17 hundredths. There are no factors which go both into 17 and 100 apart from 1. So this cannot be simplified any further. So now we've practiced converting decimals to fractions, let's think about the other way around. Quickly. 100th as a fraction, it can be represented in so many different ways. It's got the same value, 1 out of 100. This is a diagram showing 1 out of 100. Here are the words saying 1 out of 100. It's 100th, so the place value is 0.01 or 0.01. It's 100th. It's the same meaning, it's just words. These are all different ways of representing the same value. So that's why we need to be able to convert from one to another. So 13 out of 50, 13 50ths. Is this 0.13 as a decimal? Have a think. Listen on when you're ready to hear. So 0.13 is 13 out of 100. Here it is coloured in, 1 10 and 3 more hundredths. Is that the same as 13 50ths? Well, you should be saying no, this is 100 square, it's 13 out of 100. So 0.13 is not 13 50ths. What is it then? Well, I need to think about how I can think about hundredths. So to get from 50 to something out of 100, how am I going to do that? Well, to get from 50 to 100, I multiply by 2. What I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. So I have to times my numerator by 2 as well, which means 26 hundredths. So 13 50ths is equal to 26 hundredths, which is also equal to 0.26. It is not equal to 0.13. So say, sorry, no, the turtle is wrong, the tortoise is wrong. 13 50ths is the same as 26 hundredths, which is the same as 0.26. Our number system do not work with 50ths. We're going to have to convert it. Right, so we're going to find the equivalent decimals for these fractions. Remember, our decimal system works in base 10. Don't work in 2s, so how am I going to get from 2 to the system that we work with? So we work in 1s, 10s, hundreds, thousands, don't we? So 2, I'm going to multiply that by, can I multiply it by 5, and that will give me a tenth. So we use tenths in our number system. Remember, what I do to the denominator, I also do to the numerator. To multiply that by 5 as well. So, I've got 5 tenths. Now, can I change that to a decimal? Yes, I can. It's 5 out of 10. That's 0.5. So a half as a decimal equals 0.5. Let's try 9/20ths. Do we work in 20ths in our decimal system? Hopefully you're saying no. So how can I get from 20ths to a decimal that we work with? Well, I could halve it and get to tenths, but can I also halve a 9? I cannot. So I'm going to have to do something else. I'm going to also multiply by 5. And that's going to change my 20th to an 100th. So what I do to my denominator, I also have to do to my numerator. So what is 9 times 5? Hopefully you're all telling me that it is 45. So 45 over 100 is the same as 0.45. So 9/20ths as a fraction is the same as 0.45. 82/200ths. We don't work in 200ths in our number system, but we do work in hundredths. And I can halve both of these numbers because they're even numbers. So I'm going to divide 200 by 2. And now I'm going to be thinking about hundredths again. I can divide 82 by 2. And I'm thinking about how that would be 41 hundredths, which is 0.41. Lovely. I could have multiplied it by 5 instead of dividing it by 2, and then I would have found that 82 times 5 is 410. But I would drop the 0 anyway. 0 after a decimal, there's no other decimal which is in a placeholder, isn't worth anything. 0.41. Right, what fraction of the square has been shaded? Write the fraction as a decimal. So firstly count it up, see if you can write that out yourself, and pause when you're ready to hear the solution. So if you've been watching the videos we've done the other day, we know that these black squares are hundredths. These strips are tenths. And these little ones here, these are thousandths. So I've got 2 tenths. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hundredths. And I've got 6 thousandths. So I've got 296 out of 1,000. Thousands are numbers that we work with because it's in our base 10 system, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. So we can convert that directly to 0.2, 2 in the tenths, 9 hundredths, and 6 thousandths. Right, so again, remembering our decimal system works in base tenths, find the equivalent decimals for these fractions. So we don't work in 250s, we don't work in 2000s, we don't work in 500s. Ooh. How does our system work? So, the first one we're going to think of, how can I get from 250 to a number that we work with? Well, I'm going to multiply by 4. 250 times 4, 53 times 4. If you haven't worked that out, work it out now, and then unpause when you're ready to hear, which equals 212 out of 1,000. Can that be, how would we change that to a decimal? It's 0.212. Okay, have a look at this one. I've actually given you the answer. How has it changed from 500 to 1,000? Well, we've multiplied it by 2. So what I do to my denominator also happens to my numerator. So my denominator, to get from 500 to 1,000, we multiply by 2. 81 times 2 is 162. And as a decimal, is 0.162. Okay, 118 over 2,000. Do we work with 2,000s? We do not. So how am I going to change it? Work with tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s we can work with. I'm actually going to divide by 2. And I know I can divide both of these by 2 because they're both even numbers. So 2,000 divided by 2 is 1,000, and 100 divided by 2 is 59. So 59 thousandths. Is that going to be 0.59? Hopefully you're telling me no, it is not. I've only got 59 out of 1,000. My 5 is in my hundredths column and my 9 is in my thousandths column. 0.59 would be 59 out of 100, not out of 1,000. Right, moving on. Have a go at these by yourself. See if you can complete them. These ones, if you just want a little bit of a challenge. If you're feeling like, actually, I want more of a challenge, go for the yellow. If you really want to challenge yourself, try the red chilies. Pause the video and unpause when you're ready to hear the solutions. So for the green chilies, these are all out of 100. You didn't actually need to do any converting. You just needed to change the fraction to a decimal directly. So 76 out of 100 is 0.76. 49 out of 100 is 0.49. We're actually using the same digits because we can use the hundreds already. For a yellow chili, we're going to use some hundreds which are slightly easier, and these ones where you actually need to change them, either multiply or divide, so that we can work with these numbers. So 8 hundredths, 0.08, remember? 8 tenths would be 0.8. 0.4, 0.29. Check all of your answers. If you got them wrong, go over them again, see where you went wrong. These ones were the more challenging ones. So how can I get from 50 to 100, which is something I can work with, and multiply by 2? So my answers also, the numerator needs to be multiplied by 2 as well. 0.84, 0.5, 0.16, 0.78, 0.07. And for the red chili, all mixed up. So these ones are fine, we can use them. This one I can't use because it's not in our base 10 system. So I multiply that by 10, by 2. 50 times 2 is 100, 5 times 2 is 10, 0.1. And some more over there. These ones were more challenging because, as you can see, the numerator was bigger than the denominator. So when I convert 50 to 100 multiplied by 2, and I multiply 78 by 2, and I get 156, my 1 is actually in my ones column. I can tell I've got something in the ones column because my numerator is bigger than my denominator. Same here. And same here. Right, today your activity is, well, you've got something on purple mash, but as well, what I want you to go on, I want you to go on Fruit Splat. The link's here, and I'm also going to put it, as always, in the YouTube video in the comment section. So, level 1 is quite easy. You're just thinking about tenths. Level 2, getting slightly more challenging. You're thinking about tenths and hundredths. And from level 3, 4 and 5, you're going to have to do some converting. So these are more challenging. So you could maybe start off on a level 1, and if you're not that confident, see if you can try level 2 afterwards, build your way up. If you're feeling like, actually, I really want a challenge, you can start on level 3, then maybe have a go at level 4 or level 5. See how much of a challenge you would like. Have a go on this, and hopefully you get on alright. So I will see you at 2:30. Do go on Purple Mash as well, but this game will really help you to practice the skill that we've been working on today. See you tomorrow, and I'll speak to my class at 2:30. Bye!